Hey guys, so this video is to address this question I got on TikTok about the other sections of the STP interview, which is majorly the general science question. So I think we'll have different sections of the interview, like the general science questions, the specialism specific questions, questions around transferable skills and NHS core value and NHS constitutions. So the specialty specific ones is quite straightforward. You just read around your specialty, but the general science questions can be very stressful, and I can attest to you that it stressed me out during my prep because I wasn't sure of what I should be reading. I was panicking about getting a question from my undergraduate days that I may not be able to answer, or getting a question that is very basic and I may not know the answer. So I was just worrying about it. But I held on to an advice I got on the STP Discord group, and I can testify that that advice is very correct and true. So I would also share that with you. So they said that these are very basic questions around healthcare science that you would be able to answer as someone with a science background or someone that is very familiar with healthcare. And I can tell you that that is very true. So I got questions because my specialty is cancer genomics, and of course, when my interview started, the very first set of questions were around cancer and around my specialty. Then they moved over to questions that I would say are related to healthcare science. And I can tell you that I didn't specifically prepare for these questions, and they just came. But I was able to answer them because they are very basic. I believe they use that to maybe assess your knowledge and assess your line of thought, because I had to think of an answer immediately. But they are very basic questions and I didn't find them difficult. I was able to answer them, but I had to take a second to catch my breath and think about what I was going to say. So just take it from me that they're not going to be random questions. They'll be questions you'll be able to answer as someone with a science background. So if I were to prepare for an STP interview today, I would focus on understanding my specialty perfectly, understanding the role of a clinical scientist in my specialty, understanding the NHS core value and the NHS constitution. I would also prepare examples of how I demonstrate the NHS core value. Then I will also research future advances within my specialty and the current trends in my specialty. So these are the things I'll focus on rather than panicking about the general healthcare science question, because honestly, they are questions you'd be able to answer as someone with a science background. Then, for values and transferable skills, just go back to the STP core person specification and reflect on how you work with other people, how you fit into the NHS, how you communicate. Just reflect on these things. And for transferable skills, they are not expecting you to be an expert to get into the STP. So you can use any work experience you've had in the past, volunteering, or any job you've done at all. But ensure that while answering the question, make sure you use examples to answer the question rather than giving very generic answers like, I'm very hardworking, I communicate well. No, I don't think that's the best way to answer these questions. I think you should use examples of when you've done these things to answer the questions. Also, in answering your questions, make sure you show enthusiasm and interest for your specialty. These are some of the things they might be assessing. They might want to see how interested you are in what you are talking about, not just saying something and just sounding like you're just reading a script or giving an answer. Show enthusiasm, look at the future trends, look at what's going on, be ready to talk about all these things. And I wish you the very best. I think some of you have done your interview, but I've been very busy. That's why this video is just coming now. But for those of you that are still doing your interview, don't panic about the general science questions and just focus on other things. I wish you the very best. If you want me to talk about any other part of the interview, drop it in the comment section and I'll make a video about it. Bye.